What's up, guys? Thanks for watching the video. If you are watching this, thank you. Please, if there's something in here that you find helpful, useful, and informative, please share. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I can. I really enjoy sharing information, and a lot of these videos that I'm making are coming straight from a thought or an idea that comes to me during the day or during a lifting session, or when someone says something, I feel motivated to talk about it. So today, this video is directed at young lifters who are more or less writing checks that their body's not going to be able to cash. Those checks they're writing are going to bounce when they're my age. I'm 33, and I've got some bounce checks. Got one here, and I got a hamstring bounce checks. How did I do that? I lifted too heavy all the time, and I'm talking to you if that's you, so listen up. All right, so I'm eating some chicken here with some Bolthouse Farms cilantro avocado dressing or something. It's real good. Check that out. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the argument here, or the video, whatever. You can argue with me if you want. So I'll just start off. I'm kind of shooting from the hip. I wrote down a few things here, my main points, but this other stuff is kind of off the hip. I'm gonna try not to go too far off the beaten path, and my eyes are all jacked up. I already have some messed up eyes from allergies, but I popped a few blood vessels tonight deadlifting. So the purpose of this video is A, to talk to that lifter who's constantly pushing 90, 95, 97, 100%, just loading up the bar and just constantly doing heavy singles, doubles, and triples all the time. That's all they do. And again, you're going to run yourself into the ground very quickly training like that. And I'll repeat again, I know because I have a bad shoulder because of it. I have a bad hamstring because of it. And I wish earlier in my career I wouldn't have lifted as heavy as often. I was fortunate to train with some pretty cool people who helped me do a lot of things. Without training with them, I wouldn't have lifted what I lifted. But I think I would have went even further if I would have backed off a little sooner and used volume and frequency in my training, and I probably would have stayed healthier. There's a place, there's a time and a place for heavy lifting and hitting those heavy doubles and singles and triples or whatever, okay? But you got to understand that if you're constantly doing singles and doubles and triples, while you're going to get good at that and you're going to gain some strength over time, you're not going to gain as much strength as if you're using submaximal weight, doing fairly large amounts of volume frequently. Basic math will tell us this. So take lifter A. He goes in and he does 500. Let's say he's squatting, okay? Or deadlifting, one of the two. Or benching, who cares? Pick a lift, I don't care. If he's benching 500 for 3 doubles, he's pretty freaking strong. The point still stands here. Take the point I'm trying to show you. If he does 500 for 3 doubles, do the math on that. How much weight did he total in all of that volume put together? 3K, 3,000 pounds, right? Now, you take that same lifter, and I'm pretty confident that you could drop him about 95 pounds to 405, and I bet you he could do 5 sets of 5 for 25 total reps with 405. I'll give you a second here to do some math, and I don't know if you've been taught with Common Core or, I don't know how. I teach Common Core. I like it. I'd like to see you argue me on that. I'll tell you right now, Common Core is better than what I was taught. It may not be the best, but it's better. And you probably used Common Core growing up. You just didn't know it because it wasn't called Common Core then. Anywho, let's do some math. So 500 for 3 doubles is 3,000 pounds, right? 405 for 25 reps is 10,125 pounds. Who caused more adaptation? Who's going to gain more strength over time pushing themselves with that kind of volume? Lifter A or lifter B? Think about it. Lifter A lifted 3,000 pounds. Lifter B lifted 10 grand. Think about that. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to go in there and do 5x5 all the time. But you shouldn't be able to go in there and grind out singles, doubles, and triples all the time. It just doesn't make sense. Your body can't recover from that. Because A, you're not really forcing adaptation. Why? Because I'm going to chew my food here. Think about it. 500 by 3, lifter A, he's struggling to get those 3 doubles, okay? Lifter B, he could run submaximal weight, and you hear a lot of lifters talking about RPEs, rate of perceived effort. That's good stuff. That lifter who's doing 5x5, he's probably not emptying the tank with 5x5. You know, there are some days on some programs where your coach or whatever program you're running is going to say, you want to hit this at 10. So you can't do another rep. When you're at 10, you cannot do another rep or you can't do any more weight for that number of reps. You are maxed out. You have emptied the tank. Okay? So my point is, lifter A, he's constantly going in, emptying the tank. Lifter B is doing more total volume, and more than likely, if they're using higher volume with submaximal weights, they're lifting with a greater frequency, so they may be doing a lift 2-3 times a week. So in that case, you have to force yourself to listen to how you feel. And that's why those RPEs come into play. You know, you work up to a certain RPE, and once you hit that RPE, you're done, and you stay at that weight or you come down. It's just smarter lifting. That guy who's doing those 3 doubles all the time, or singles or triples, you know, he's nickeling and diming, constantly. And the guy who's doing the volume, he's doing a whole lot more than nickeling and diming, and he's still got some in the tank, but he's forcing adaptation at a much greater rate than the lifter who's doing 6 to 10 total reps in his workout with 100 more pounds. Lifter B, who lifted less, still lifted more than you did. So think about it like that. Look at it from a mathematical standpoint, total volume. It'll make a whole lot more sense to you. The other thing I wanted to talk about, is kind of the title of the video, is how much is in the tank, and I'm dipping my fingers in the sauce here. How much is in the tank, and when to empty your tank? More often than not, there's more in the tank than you think. That's why it's good to lift around other people, video your lifts, watch them yourself. Today, for example, and I'm going to show some videos where, you know, my plan was to go in, do 500 conventional. All right, I had to pause for a second, but I was just talking about my plan for the day was to go in, hit 500 for more or less an AMRAP, as many reps as possible. I'm not running any particular program, but I pretty much train instinctively. So if I'm feeling good, I'll push it. But I really, really, really listen to my body, and my warm-up sets tell me a lot. They probably tell me 60 to 70% about what I need to know for that day. And then when I go to my weight, like, hey, this is where I feel like I'm going to, you know, this is what I feel like today. This is what I feel like doing based on how my warm-up sets and how I feel, you know, walking up the stairs, just everything all together. That actual set, when I get in it, the first 1 to 4 reps tell me how good I really feel and if I can really push that set. So you'll see in the video, again, my plan was to do as many reps as I could, and I more or less kind of wanted to try and beat my best set of 500 conventional, and I was going to do it with stop and go reps, and then possibly, once I felt like I was done with being able to do another stop and go rep, I would hit a few more touch and go and really push. And after 3-4 reps, I could feel my erectors more or less telling me, hey, chill. And that's when I knew right then that was not the time to empty the tank. That was not when I needed to push really hard. I stopped. I probably had another rep or 2, which, you know, would have put me at an at 10 RPE, another rep or 2, but I stopped because I knew it wasn't worth getting hurt just to try to prove nothing. I don't even compete anymore. It actually would probably be harder for me to deal with getting hurt as a non-competitor than if I was a competitor, you know, because what am I lifting for? I'm lifting for myself because I want to be in good shape and I want to be, you know, above average in strength. Um, and that's the only reason that I lift now, because lifting, I still love to do it, but it's not worth getting hurt over. So after that, I knew, okay, that's fine. I'll come down and I'll do a bunch of work. And I did. I came down to 405 pounds and I did some sets of 8 to 10. And that's when I more or less emptied the tank. I felt okay doing it. I didn't have certain body parts yelling at me. I didn't empty the tank with heavier weight. I could empty the tank and push with lighter weight, submaximal weight. And because of that, my deadlift, my conventional deadlift is going up. And I'm working with 405 most of the time. I'm doing some reps with 500 here and there, but that's still about 100 pounds less than where I'm at right now. I'm using submaximal weight. I'm staying healthy, and I'm able to consistently go in and do work. So I'm going to show these two clips, and I'll kind of talk over them, and hopefully what I said here makes sense. You know, stop lifting heavy all the time. Use the idea of volume and frequency and total volume. And I'm telling you, A, you're going to add more to your total in a shorter amount of time. B, your lifting career is going to be longer. And C, you're going to be glad you listened, because you're not going to have checks bounce when you hit that 30 to 33 year old mark like myself. So take it from someone who's been there, done that, written that check, bounced that one, and just take my advice, okay? Stop telling yourself, it works for me, bro. Ask yourself, be objective. Is it really working? Is it really? All right, so here's this set with 500. Again, the plan was to do as many reps as I could, but I could tell pretty much right away, probably second or third rep really, that I just wasn't going to have a whole lot more than around 5 reps. So you can pretty much see it moves pretty good right away, but each rep gets slower and slower, and I'm just fatigued to the point where it just wasn't worth emptying the tank and possibly getting hurt, so I shut it down after 5 reps. Here's 405. I already done 2 sets of 8 conventional here, and this is where I felt like I could really push and empty the tank and do some work, and you know, hit close to an RPE 9 or 10 where I didn't have anything else left, but I dropped the weight, so I wasn't really risking hurting myself. Nothing was screaming at me. No part of my body was telling me to stop and shut it down. I was totally fine pushing myself pretty hard here. So that's why I did what I did. I felt okay about it, and I wasn't worried about getting hurt.